Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns and welcome to the Breath of the Wild 80% Tournament 2021. We are deep inside the bracket stage. It's the lower bracket round 6 and we have StorewideBoss69 going up against Senor Tapir today. And it's going to be a good one, a best of 3, a full 3 matches if everything goes according to plan. And these will be commentated by our duo, Crazy AZ and Litbooks. Folks, take it away.
Hello everyone, welcome to this exciting match we have today. Hope you are all having a good Wednesday, and hope that the holiday season is starting off well for you all. This promises to be a very exciting match. Senor Tapir is one of our top runners in the tournament. And he has been having a very good tournament campaign, only falling to the very incredible player 5 in the last round. And then StorewideBoss is actually sort of the Cinderella story of this tournament. Comes in as the lowest seed still left in the tournament, but has some really impressive upsets on his way to this match. So it's going to be an exciting one.
Hiya, I'm sorry, as soon as Just Press Go Live, I moved my mic closer and it fell off the table. And so I had to fix it real quick. So...
You're all good.
But yeah. This one should be exciting because Storewide has knocked off a couple of really top runners, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely. Getting our lovely intro cutscene here. And I hope you all are looking forward to this exciting race. There is some exciting things happening routing-wise to the Breath of the Wild 80% run at the moment. And it's pretty cool because there are actually 2 different plateau routes. This is the first time we've had a plateau reroute in quite a while. And yeah, so it'll be curious to see which our runners run. I know Tapir last race was doing the bombs first route, which is the newer route using the BLSS. While Storewide, I think, has done both in the tournament in his last round, so curious to see which he will choose to use today.
And yeah, I mean, Tapir used it, but it was the first time he'd used it ever. So we'll just see what happens. And he said he should have used the other one. So.
Yeah, I believe he was practicing bombs first yesterday, presumably in preparation for today. But we will see very shortly which one these runners are going for, as the branch is pretty immediate.
Unfortunate Storewide did get caught in Shrine of Resurrection clip. Hopefully he'll be able to make up that time.
For sure. We do see Tapir running for the pot lid, which does not on its own determine the route, but in all likelihood, if he were going for the traditional route that we run up until very recently,
he just turned his camera.
Yeah, so he's going for the bomb first route.
Yeah.
If he had gone for Boko Shield, we would know that he was going for the older BTB route. Storewide, on the other hand, does look like he is going for the more traditional BTB route. Presumably just what he is more comfortable with. There's no major time difference between the 2 routes right now, but I think the people who are choosing to switch to the new route really point to some better consistency and less RNG in it.
A lot better consistency. People are saying they can kind of get, if you're a top runner, you can get pretty consistent 14s, which was, not that it wasn't possible on the other route, but the consistency-wise, it wasn't as good. Also, I apologise for the ringing sound. That's my cat.
We see Tapir struggling a little bit to get those arrows there from the pot. He breaks the other pot, but he's going to do a BLSS after having clipped into the Temple of Time. And that BLSS is going to take him all the way to the bomb shrine.
Good fall damage cancel.
Storewide also picking up his bow and arrows. Tapir has successfully done a shield clip into bombs and is now entering the shrine.
Well, Starwide gets no skew and will be attempting to clip into stasis.
Ooh, it doesn't look like he really got skew there, so he's gonna have to get it again on the shrine.
Alright. So let's see. I guess Tapir's gonna do Gamer Wind Bomb.
Definitely seems like what he's going for. Yep, gonna go off the peg in the hopes of landing the wind bomb all the way up at the monk.
Okay, Trez got it. I was gonna ping Trez if something didn't happen soon. I don't want to be the only one talking.
Tapir lands a little short on the gamer wind bomb, so does have to do the backup, but it only loses a handful of seconds. One of the things that I think, just sort of running through this new route a bit myself, that I've noticed is that normally in the old route you do bombs at full health, but because of the cold damage you take at the beginning of the game, you actually enter Bomb Shrine on the new route with 2.5 health. And so I think that's part of why runners are favoring Gamer Wind Bomb, is because you spend less time ragdolling and rolling and you won't necessarily lose as much health to that.
For sure.
Both our runners have finished their first shrines, and we will now see them go on to their second one. For Tapir, that is going to be the Magnesis Shrine, whereas Storewide will be performing a BTB to get over to Cryonis. Did not explicitly remember Tapir getting peppers, but I would not at all be surprised if he did. It's a pretty common thing to do. Easy way to get some backup food. Tapir executing a second BLSS, or Bow Lift Smuggle Slide, in order to go on over to the Magnesis Shrine. In this route, we replace basically all the BTBs, which rely somewhat on Book RNG, with the BLSS, and that's one of the reasons it becomes more consistent. As we see Storewide scanning Amiibo in order to get Attack Up Fish. This looks like pretty good Amiibo. Manages to get 2 carps and 2 porgies off of just 2 scans.
Sorry, I'm trying to manage sounds from Kitten playing and don't want to damage everyone's ears.
You're good. Apparently there was something about that last stretch that Tapir liked. He decided to clip it.
I feel like Tapir clips every other, I don't know, 30 seconds.
As Storewide pulls off his first BTB of the run. It's interesting to me that he goes for a bow unequipped there. That one doesn't require a particularly tight bullet time cancel, but I guess it is just a little more reliable than the Y press if you buffer. So yeah, all about that consistency in these races. That's what really matters.
Yeah, whatever you're used to is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get a heart attack every time the Magnesis Ragdoll face, and then every time I'm like, all right, that's intentional.
It is indeed. Yeah, so Tapir bombs himself there to fix something known as Ragdoll Glitch. As you'll see, when he bombed himself, Link didn't go flying in Ragdoll like he normally would. and that's a byproduct of clipping into the shrines. Performing a clip gives you this Ragdoll Glitch, where you don't Ragdoll, and it means you don't Ragdoll there when you take damage, but it also prevents wind bombs from working. And so Tapir is about to do a wind bomb coming up, and he wants to take damage and cancel the Ragdoll Glitch now before that happens.
Definitely. It's really important to remember that no matter what route you're doing. We use a different kind of Ragdoll cancel in the other in Stasis first route, but it still needs to happen either way. Because setting skew will always give you Ragdoll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good place to do it there at the end of Magnesis because you're at full health, so you will survive the bomb blast, and then you're going to finish the shrine, which heals you up to full health. So, yeah. Storwide finishing up his second shrine. It's a little hard to compare exactly who's in the lead because of these different routes, but I think it is likely to be Tapir at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because he will be entering his third shrine in just like 2 seconds.
Yeah. We'll see if Storewide can manage to get an unloaded shrine here. This is another thing that is no longer possible in the new route, but adds to its consistency is Storewide does get a good BTB, and because of that, he has a chance to get an unloaded shrine if he gets there fast enough. But that's not consistent. Even if you get the perfect BTB, it's not guaranteed. As well as the loads as you fall through the air be a source of just like random time loss. So the new route really cuts those out. Storewide having a little bit of a struggle with the clip, but he manages to get in on a slightly more complete setup.
We all hate inside mag clip.
Yeah, the inside mag clip is a bit of a difficult one. So here they're doing another kind of he's canceling another kind of ragdoll clear by flopping off his shield in order to perform a wind bomb inside the shrine. And he does that very nicely and skips all the way to the end.
It's a very low wind bomb, which means it has to have a really specific bomb placement in order to make it work. Otherwise, you just hit the ceiling, and it won't be good.
Indeed. So Tapir will now attempt his final shrine, or get to and complete the final shrine of Plateau. We're going to see him take the boulder ride up top as you would in the other route, just like Storewide did. But I believe he will opt to do a BLSS over 2 Cryonis rather than the BTB. Ooh, his boulder crashes into the cliff, so it doesn't get him all the way up there. But it is enough that he's able to climb the rest of the distance.
I don't think it's going to affect him that much, hopefully. Just gonna go around and zoom over.
Mm-hmm. As Storewide finishes up Magnesis, and we'll now have one final BTB on Plateau to get to the bomb shrine.
Yeah, so you can kind of...
Go for it.
I was just going to say, you can see here, like, clearly Tapir is definitely ahead because he will be... Oh, did he just... Something broke on Tapir's screen.
Not quite sure, but he did get a nice fast ESC there.
His
he
shield
doesn't
broke.
have a shield. Oh my.
So he's going to have to reload that. I thought it was his shield, but I was like, there's no way. But yeah.
That's scary. So yeah, there's some shield surfing that people do on the beginning over grass and stone that does take durability off your shield. And so despite having the pot lid, which tends to be pretty durable, you do eat a lot of durability on the shield there, and have to be careful with it the rest of the run. And so with that, like, that definitely gave up probably around 30 plus seconds. He's lucky that he had an autosave as close as he did in order to recover that fast.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to put him back by stasis. Like, you just never know with the autosaves.
Yeah, autosaves in this game are kind of finicky. And then, of course, one of the byproducts that makes this route so fast is that by getting bombs first, have the bombs to perform a wind bomb in the rest of the shrines on Plateau. And so skipping all forms of cryo skip that we had previously just by doing a wind bomb up to the top.
Up and over. And you see Storewide doing the kind of the not gamer version of this of that wind bomb. Just from going to the side.
Absolutely.
Both of them are going to have a pretty nice plat time.
Yeah. No, they've both been solid plats. Up until Tapir had to reload, there really haven't been any major issues. I guess StoreWide has had some slower clips than he would like, probably, but other than that, they've both been pretty clean. Tapir's is probably going to be marginally faster.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the danger of something going wrong on tree launch.
This is true. The upcoming wind bomb and tree launch for StoreWide are, some of the less forgiving movement we do in the run, movement tricks we do in the run, and while bombs to paraglider is the shortest split in the run, I do think it is one of the ones that is more likely to have a mistake.
It's never given you any trouble, has it, Crazy?
Oh, absolutely not. It was a very nicely pulled off wind bomb by StoreWide, though, and the tree launch is a consistent trick. It's just, also quite precise, so.
If you rush or you're nervous, it just can be a little bit meh.
But he manages to get it nicely there. As Tapir finishes up Plateau with something of a low 15 as far as leaderboard timing goes. And yeah, that's pretty good. He's now going to BLSS over to the castle as the first half of the run and the tutorial section is completed.
Remember that he can't BTB because he doesn't have a sledgehammer. Oh, he could, but it just messes up the current timings that we have for BTB. Just would be a little bit different.
Yeah, people haven't really gotten comfortable yet with the BTB using the spear rather than the axe. The old setups rely on the two-handed weapon, which, as Litbooks pointed out, you can pick up a two-handed weapon pretty easily in stasis, but it does cost you a couple of seconds. Ooh, StoreWide there, dying
so
on
unfortunate.
The first attempt of Castle BTB. Doing that BTB is definitely faster than BLSS, as Tapir speed caps, but only if you get it first try. And so that does give Tapir a little more breathing room, whereas StoreWide was right behind him up until that. Still fairly close, though.
Yeah, that load time after the death is kind of costly, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, but he does manage to get second try, which is nicely done. Tapir, I don't think his fish were particularly good, so he's probably going to have to pick up the Razor Shroom here in order to complete his attack up potion. Or never mind. I trust him to know how many fish he got and decides not to go for the Razor Shroom.
I just realised if I feed the cat, she's not going to play with the toy anymore.
Tapir picking up 3 ancient arrows for the fight later, as well as sneak striking this Lizalfos for a boomerang.
Does Story do 6 ancient arrow or 3 ancient arrow?
We will have to see. I kind of think 6, but
Yeah, I kind of thought
right.
6 as well.
Oh, a
good.
low glide there. That's all right. Just runs away from the moblin in order to get the castle cutscene and autosave without dying. My guess is he probably just reloads the save. Or we'll see how he chooses to back this up. Very unfortunate. Ooh,
oh, fancy.
fancy, but probably not what he was going for.
No, but it
Turns
actually
out
might work out in his favor. Oh, never mind. He's back. Oh, it did.
Right.
Wow.
Manages to avoid any deaths, which is good, and can now resume the normal route. Grabbing that Royal Claymore. He definitely doesn't need the Razor Shroom, as he got plenty of fish on his first 2 scans.
Unfortunately, the Moblin also alerted for Tapir, so he had to re-distract him with a bomb, which is a few seconds time loss, but not quite as serious as what just happened to Storewide.
Absolutely. And with that, Tapir has all of the weapons he needs to go into the final fights.
Tapir is going to perform one blight skip here after eating his attack up food, and he should be into the boss rush.
One thing to note that's pretty cool, just how precise this routing is. Tapir enters this fight with exactly 7 arrows, or 6 now that he has shot one of them. And he is going to use exactly 6 through blights, so that when he enters the Calamity fight, he is out of arrows, and the bomb arrows that he picks up will automatically equip. Just a little optimization that saves him some menuing time.
You see Storewide's actually, so he is doing these 6 ancient arrow round. 6 ancient arrow speeds up Ganon a little bit. It also doesn't use the out of bounds clips that we saw Tapir do, which makes it a little bit more comfortable for some runners who are maybe not as comfortable with mid-air wind bombs. And then also Ganon is a little bit speedier, but the castle's a bit longer, so it's got its trade-offs. It does have a pretty high consistency rating. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. We've definitely seen those out-of-bound mid-airs. His bomb wasn't diffused. That's really just kind of an RNG thing that, you can check for it, but most of the time is an issue. It does manage to back it up, but it costs him a few seconds. The out-of-bound mid-airs have given people trouble in the tournament for sure. And so, in fact, that's how Storewide's won at least one of his matches against higher seeds, is simply the more consistency of his route versus the out-of-bounds mid-air giving others trouble. Tapir, though, did have a clean castle despite the riskier route, and is now fighting Fireblight Phase 1.
And unfortunately for Storewide, he really is looking for Tapir to make a mistake for him to catch up here. Once you're into the boss rush, if you're a blight behind like Storewide is, it's very hard to catch up, because this new route is a lot more scripted, and so Ganon just really isn't as much of an issue anymore. He still is deadly, but a good runner who has practiced a lot like Tapir will just have it in muscle memory at this point.
Yeah, definitely still a hard fight, but it's true, there's just not as many places to lose time without a death. And so Tapir, as long as he finishes out these fights cleanly, likely has this.
Mm-hmm. I'm confident to you.
Story did manage to get the quick headshot on Water Blight, so finishes him off with just 2 shots instead of having to do any additional Claymore hits.
Yeah. And Thunderbolt's just taking his sweet time.
Yep.
And Tapir will pretty much finish him off with no problem.
Yep, and now Tapir is onto Calamity. Definitely a very hard fight, but the Royal Guard's Claymore and Ancient Arrows that we pick up in this route make quick work of him. So Tapir's going to do a Flurry Rush here, going to run and pick up the 10 Bomb Arrows that are sitting in Sanctum. And then he needs to land pretty much all his headshots in order to get enough damage. If he misses any, he'll have to go in for an extra Flurry Rush. Which is not the end of the world, but, you know.
He did break his boomerang, so it'd be kind of weird. At least I thought it was his boomerang. So hopefully it'll be fine.
And he does it perfectly. If you hit all your headshots there, you do actually finish off the first phase with 1 bomb arrow remaining, so it seems like he missed 1, but that's not a problem. He simply takes the last shot, and his bow breaks, which is actually kind of useful for the next phase. Or, I mean, Dark Beast.
I was going to say, next phase!
Yes, phase 3 Calamity.
Oh wait, no, his boomerang didn't break, I'm just... Oh, see.
And at this point, Tapir's got the stun lock all set up, and just a few more spins, and he will be on to Dark Beast as Storewide starts Calamity himself. You'll see with the 6 Ancient Arrow route, he actually starts off with the Ancient Arrow headshots. Actually sounded like he may have missed the very first one, which is not the end of the world because he's going to do the Flurry Rush here, which is optional, but does significantly increase the consistency of this fight. He'll have to make sure he does a good job with his headshots here.
Yeah, but like you just saw Tapir like finish it with 3, so it's not quite as tight.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Let's see if we get some pre-fires from Tapir. Oh, so you mentioned the bow breaker. What?
He yep, tries to parry that a little early, but or actually I think it's a little late on the parry for that imperfect parry. Somebody goes to the wall. He's able to use these 2 bomb arrows that he has left over in order to knock him off. And just to get that parry second try.
Yeah.
And he is now on to phase 2. And Tapir's on phase 2 of Dark Beast.
So I'm crazy. Why was it a good thing that Tapir's bow broke?
Yeah, so by Tapir's bow breaking, this is sort of similar to the having exactly the right number of arrows. He doesn't have any bow equipped when he enters the Dark Beast fight. And so when he hits the Bow of Light, it will automatically be equipped for him. By not having to spend any time menuing for the Bow of Light, you are able to listen to audio cues in the Dark Beast fight. And from those audio cues, you can know exactly when the targets are going to show up and shoot pre-fires to hit the targets immediately as they appear. This isn't really possible when you have to do that menuing because the music will keep playing through the bow switch. And so the fact that the route sort of has the bow break allows you to do these pre-fires and know exactly when in the music the targets will appear.
Still a really close race.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
seems like ultimately Tapir is going to end up being about 2 minutes ahead. This Dark Beast fight takes about 2.5 minutes to perform, and takes the final shot, and GG's Tapir.
GG's.
This is a best of 3, so don't go anywhere. Tapir has a 1-0 lead, but this is not over yet. Storewide could come back. And yeah. As we watch Storewide take the last couple of shots he needs in order to finish this race out. Tapir managed to get a 28:53 race time, which, subtracting off the minute 7 seconds of cutscene at the beginning that we don't count on our leaderboard, that is a 27:46. Pretty amazing time, particularly for in a race. But I feel like we're saying that almost every race, which is both really impressive, but also just really speaks to how much more consistent the community has gotten over the past year. Like, you know, sub 30s in last year's tournament were like very notable. Like, they happened, but they were very notable because, you know, it took a lot of consistency to get them. And like this tournament, like, they're happening all the time. Like, the top runners can hit them so consistently now. It's really cool to see how we push this game.
Yeah, it's you probably won't win a race at this point with a not sub 30.
At this stage of the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is crazy.
Even you know, despite losing this match, Storewide is going to get a sub 30 leaderboard time as well.
Yeah, definitely.
GG's.
GG's.
Storewide with a 30:58 or 29:51. Hotly contested race. Tapir really with almost no mistakes. Had that one of the shield breaking on the ESC into cryo, but other than that, a very cleanly done race. Storewide, nothing like major. Some issues on clips and a death on Castle BTB is really... Oh, and some issues with the Moblin once he got there. Yeah. Noticing him are really what sort of set the two apart. But yeah, overall, very well executed on both runners' parts. And yeah, they will do another one here in just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So just going to be back in like 4 minutes with the next race. But until then, yeah, both of them with a sub 30 run. So really high quality race here. I mean, they both made it quite far. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Not even entirely sure, actually, who's waiting in the next round. In the next round, waiting is the winner of Concy versus ITNT Piston. So that's a pretty big one as well. And that's already the losers bracket semi-finals next round. So this is losers bracket quarters. So they already got past quite a few people. Only 6 people remaining in the entirety of the tournament.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, impressive group that's left.
Yep. So both of them really in for maybe good chances to win the entire thing. I mean, of course, you need to get past player 5, which is...
This is true. Tapir actually is the only one who's taken a race off of player 5.
Yeah, Tapir in winners bracket quarters. In winners bracket semis, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And Storewide had a loser bracket run against Orcrist and against Sly, and went down against Daniel, who is facing player 5 in winners bracket. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, let me get everything prepared here, and then we can already switch over again, because it won't take long now until they start. And we can actually go right back to the layout, I want to say. And then just wait for a little bit.
Yep. Give our runners just a few minutes to reset, recharge between races.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Got this cat climbing around my well, hopefully she'll settle down in her cat tree. Yeah, there she goes.
And yeah, Tapir already ready. We're just quickly waiting for Storewide, who's gonna be back in like a minute or two. So no reason for us to go into a full break until then. It's gonna be quick either way.
Defo.
So what do you think? Is Storewide coming back, or is it gonna be hard to come back from this?
I mean, he's definitely got his work cut out for him. Storewide's been really consistent through the tournament. Like, that's why he's as far as he is. He's, stayed very consistent, put up solid races, race after race, and really just his opponents will struggle and he pushes through and wins them. So I think definitely pressure's on him to try and, pull off a really good race. And so it'll sort of be down to if Tapir struggles, because when Tapir's at his best, Tapir is definitely faster. He's the, 4th seed in this tournament and 4th best player on our leaderboard. But Storewide's consistency is definitely there, such that if Tapir starts to struggle, he could take it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just the consistency of Storewide is... And the consistency of a more practiced route, I think.
This is true. He's running a route that has been around for a couple of years at this point. And the route that Tapir's doing is less than a month old. And for him actually running it in any percent, he's been running it for less than a week. So I think obviously Tapir, it served him really well last run, but he may not have quite the muscle memory that he has on other routes.
Exactly.
Oh, and I didn't realize our runners were going because my stream hadn't reloaded. Anyways, they just started picking up their Sheikah slates.
Oh gosh, what?
You need to reload the page.
I just did that. Hello?
The language, they are both in Canadian French at the moment, which is the fastest language aside from European French. French, the language speed in Breath of the Wild is determined based on voice acting speed in the cutscenes that we watch. So the category actually dictates which language is the fastest based on which voice acting cutscenes get played. For any percent, this is French. For all dungeons, that's Italian. All quests is German. All shrines in 100% are actually fastest in English. And if you go really out there to some of the 100% plus DLC, you can even get Russian as the fastest language. Yes, indeed. They are leaving 10 frames on the table by being in the Canadian French rather than the European French. And this can be, you can distinguish the difference between them by whether they capitalize the word Sheikah slate or not. The Canadian French does capitalize it, while the European French does not. Both of our runners sticking to the routes they ran last time. not surprising. Neither of them
Yeah.
had particular issues with the routes that they were running.
No.
Oh, I thought this was some joke about Sheikah Slate in capital S's.
Oh, okay. I understand now. I think it was caused by the Sheikah Slate, but like...
Tapir gets a nice clip through the window of the Temple of Time. A little bit of difficulty starting the BLSS there. It's a weird trick. You need to create this step-up animation that Link does when he steps up onto something of just the right height while holding the what's that thing called? Why am I missing its name? Pot.
Wait,
in the glitch
yes.
state.
I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
And particularly on that spot there, it's a little above the ground, so you need to jump into it at just the right distance to cause the step-up animation to happen.
I got distracted by Storewide because he had a couple of minor issues there. I'm sure he was not quite happy about him. He didn't get a fast climb on the side of the wall there. Had to really slowly climb his way up, and then also ran out of stamina on the way down the stasis. So, unfortunate, it's a little bit of time lost, but hopefully he can make that back up.
Yeah. Pretty minor. Both of our runners are still getting the runes for their first shrine.
Okay, we'll win bomb again.
Another thing that I feel like... Well, actually, I'll bring it up when we're at the next shrine.
He actually lands on the platform this time, which is what's supposed to happen.
Yes, does pull off the gamer wind bomb.
And our runners are pretty neck and neck.
Absolutely. It is kind of cool how, like, despite them being different routes, they still get the shrines at, like, pretty close to the same times.
Yeah.
And really, like, to sort of reiterate this, even the two routes, timing-wise, are, like, really so similar. There is not one that is a clear speedier one. In fact, from what I've heard so far, the route that Storewide is doing is slightly faster, but again, it's had like 2 more years worth of optimization than the one that Tapir is running. And so just simply for the consistency, that's why people are really looking at this new Bomb's first route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the next, like, month, 2 months, year.
Absolutely.
I always think the bomb's going to, like, roll off.
Yeah.
Which actually, like, is quite a problem. Yeah.
Certainly is. One of the things that people might be wondering is, if we've got this issue of the bomb rolling, why are we using the round bomb, right? You could just use the square one and not have it roll away. And what's actually happening is that as part of the glitch, you are getting a weird interaction between the hitbox of the bomb and Link's hitbox. Like, you're like lodging them in each other, and that's what causes the slide. And so the shape of the object in its hitbox actually matters for how the glitch is done. And the glitch can totally be performed with the square bomb, but your acceleration and max speed is lower with the square bomb versus the round bomb. And so if you want the fastest slide, you need to go with the round bomb and risk it rolling away.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, Tapir did have a bit of trouble with Mag, but had like reset skew and everything. So again, he's going to be watching his pot lid durability. Really quite perfect BTB for our store wide.
Yeah, nicely done. Manages to land right next to the skew spot he wants. Gets the clip in second try.
There is actually a wind bomb for this shrine that Tapir is doing, but I think people aren't quite consistent at it yet, which again could change in the next month or so as people run it more. But so he's just going to choose to do it the normal way.
Yeah, it's just a little risky at the moment. We see again the ragdoll cancel. If you fail it, you can fall in the water. And in the past route, falling in that water used to not be a big deal because you had Cryonis to help lift you back up out of it. But Tapir doesn't have Cryonis yet, and so there's not really a great backup to get back out of that water if you miss it.
Run really slowly through the water.
Mm-hmm. Storewide, on the other hand, showing us the cryo skip. Pulls it off nicely there. Tapir would, of course, skip all that using a wind bomb.
Mm-hmm. Which he will do in less than like 5 minutes.
Some nice fish there from Tapir. Oh, Link decides to open up one of the boxes instead. If you're going to open up one of those boxes, which is of course slow, you spend like a full 5 seconds opening the box and getting a whole item, like text and stuff. Getting arrows is one of the better ones. If you get another weapon, it causes some issues later where you'll have to find a time to throw it away. Otherwise, it'll like get in the way of your menuing for the fights, or it'd also give you another text box when the game decides to teach you how to throw your weapons. So getting arrows there, one of the better things you can get, but obviously you'd rather just not open the chest at all.
My favorite is when they get a piece of armor and then they put it on. It's the best.
Yes, you can wear a fancy hat through the run, I feel like. Storewide doesn't quite get the optimal mag BTB there. Lands a little short, and so he's going to have to run the rest of his way to the shrine.
Which is going to put him a bit further behind.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tapir's pulled this off very cleanly here. And so it is definitely going to be on Storewide to try and catch back up.
Mm. The boomerang's just one of the, like, the normal boomerangs are just one of the worst weapons anyway. It's not a little boomerang.
Tapir doesn't quite get the ragdoll cancel there. He gets it the second time. See him do a little unequip or re-equip with his shield just to make sure that he doesn't lose durability on the skip. Because that can give you troubles. But
Yeah,
does
that
block
was
that
fun.
wind bomb nicely again and get right to the monk.
Mm-hmm. Still a pretty close race, but yeah.
Yeah. Tapir again about like a shrine ahead, or he is finishing up his third shrine while Storewide starts his third.
Mm-hmm.
And Tapir gonna go on over to Cryonis.
Mm-hmm. Like it's such a boring shrine.
Yep. I mean, isn't it like the game kind of intends for it to be the very first shrine you do? So, not surprising that it's a little basic.
Nah, they should have put something spicy.
A little fighting robot isn't spicy enough for you?
No.
Nice BLSS there for Tapir. Tapir's like items, a little durability on them is a little questionable. Both his shield and his spear are on the verge of breaking, but he really shouldn't need them for much longer, so he should be doing fine. Storewide gets a nice box walk over to this spot, and then we'll try and get a BTB off. Oh, yeah, Boko kind of rude there. Threw the barrel, messed him up. It looks like he should still. Oh, you gotta try back up here, but
I mean,
the angle is a little bit right of where he would like to be going.
A lot of it.
Yeah, fair. And again, one of the reasons that bombs first, so we keep hammering it home, but right, this bombs first route, not necessarily faster, but just consistency is a huge part of it. You don't have to deal with the Bokos doing anything like this. You see Tapir get the wind bomb up to finish Cryonis. Something I was thinking about bringing up earlier, but really makes sense to do here is that you'll notice Tapir didn't use Cryonis at all to finish the Magnesis Shrine, but and he has to watch a really long cutscene in order to get the Cryonis rune. Unfortunately, if you try and complete the shrine without getting the Cryonis rune, the monk tells you to go back to the beginning, and that he doesn't let you complete the shrine. So, at least as of right now, we have no way of skipping runes that we don't use. But that could be one thing that if we discover a way to get a rune without the monk, or finish a shrine without getting its rune, that could potentially save a lot of time on this new route, with the fact that we have wind bombs to complete the shrines instead.
That was a bit of a wonky BLSS setup for Tapir, but manages to get it off.
Yep.
He's gonna have a nice plat.
Yeah, this is very solid by Tapir. Looks like he should get, a high 14 plateau probably.
Mm-hmm. Without that reload, it makes surprisingly much faster.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got that around 1603 on the timer, which would be something like a 1456 for the plateau. And yeah, it's very nice.
Quite solid.
And now he's going to BLSS over to Castle, and yeah, definitely taking a commanding lead over Storewide.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, defo. Another little spot of RNG is this gate that Tapir is going to be coming up on. It can be loaded in, and you don't want that. Most of the time it is like not loaded, which is good. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no avoiding that yet, as far as we know. There are some backups if the gate loads in, but the clip in is an ESC, which is not
Look at Link
amazing.
hanging on by his fingernails.
Oh my!
Oh my gosh!
He actually does take some damage there, so he's on half a heart, which just means that he'll have to find some other time to eat in order to have health for the wind bombs that he needs to do in Castle. Tapir does get the unloaded gate, and is now getting the Castle cutscene.
The storage part's going to be just a bit. Oh my gosh, words! It's almost 10 p.m. and I haven't had coffee in the afternoon. That's why.
You get something like a high 16,
Yeah.
which is quite good, but ooh, yeah, not quite there as far as or like, you know, obviously people at this stage of the tournament playing a very high level, and it's probably a slightly slower plateau than he would like in this race. Dying to Castle BTB there, also not going to help his cause in catching up.
Yeah. You see Tapir picking up this extra shield just in case something wonky goes on with Ganon.
Absolutely. We do allow our runners to watch their opponents here in this race, since there's no secret information really to be gained. And so if Tapir is watching, he may be able to see that he's got a fairly significant lead, and will go for some slightly safer strats in order to ensure that he doesn't, you know, make a big mistake and lose even more time. Nicely done on that first out of bounds wood bomb.
Getting shooting the arrow, so he ends up with 7 arrows.
Yep. On the one bright side of Storewide dying there. That. Tapir taking advantage of the shock arrows he got earlier. Managed to shock the Moblin and get the. Why does Tapir. I'm not quite sure why he went for that arrow, given that he has shock arrows. But. It was a cool play there to use the shock arrows to not have to sneak strike the Moblin. But he has. I guess
he didn't pick up the 5-pack. I think.
I see.
He had 5 electric arrows. He just needed 1 extra. But wouldn't that give extra menuing?
I feel like that's a bit of a wash, because yeah, he is gonna have to menu an extra, like that whole strat is to save 1, but.
Oh, he had 2.
You know, Tapir's a faster run than me. I will assume that makes sense to him. But yeah, he has 2 normals, 4 shock, and 1 ice. And so that is now he has 6 arrows going in this fight, which is exactly the number he needs. But he is going to have to do some extra menuing for them. I'm not sure if the math really checks out there. But it's not going to lose him any significant amount of time.
Yeah, that was just weird.
Picking up those 5 is free because, you know, that the ice arrow gave him an extra text box, whereas he's already picked up normal arrows, so it would have just picked it up without giving him the text box.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
As we see Storewide about to go up and face that Moblin himself.
Interesting that I seen Storewide do this 2 times now. He makes sure he heals before getting this.
I think that's really just to give the Moblin some time to load in.
Yeah.
Given that he has to heal before doing the wind bomb anyways, you might as well do it there. And make sure that the Moblin is loaded in, because sometimes that wind bomb prevents him from picking up, or like the you need to wait for the Moblin when you wind bomb up so fast.
I see.
Pure confirming in chat that he forgot about the normal arrows in that room. You'll notice that given that we're spending so much time talking about the number of arrows, Storewide has 8 arrows, and that is inconsequential in the 6 ancient arrow route. Because Storewide is going to shoot his ancient arrows right at the beginning, he has to do some menuing over to the ancient arrows, even if he were out of arrows at the end of the Blights fights. And then after having used up all his ancient arrows, he'll pick up the bomb arrows and benefit from them already being equipped because he's out of ancient arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Just some of the fun minutiae of these routes.
Mm-hmm. You see, it's quite a significant lead at this point. So it's like basically just begun his boss rush, and Tapir's like almost finished. So.
Yep, Tapir just got one phase left of Thunderblight.
Well, it's a good thing that he did end up picking the electric arrows up. Because otherwise, Tapir would have had a major problem with arrows.
Presumably, he wouldn't have forgotten the normals, but I agree. He he certainly used them. Made them count.
Yeah. Alright, on to Ganon. Let's just hear those headshots ringing in. Spicy, spicy headshots.
Nice parry there. Does the perfect number of hits with that Royal Guard's Claymore to leave it on one durability when he throws it. And nails all three of those ancient arrow headshots. I believe he still has his bow, so his bow's on one durability, and he's gonna want to use that. Yeah, so he shoots it there for no damage, but again, just to make sure that his bow is broken. Does 2 hits with the Edge of Duality to give the perfect amount of damage before he starts the spin, to ensure that Calamity gets up in time before he has run out of stamina on the spin. And then there's this perfect time that you can do the slam as Calamity's shield is going up that causes him to get stunned instead of put the shield up, and thus creates this stun lock.
Just realized that we get like any percent back at GDQ.
Yeah, there's been some pretty significant changes since the last time it's been showcased.
The entire run is different.
True. Yeah, now that we both replaced Plateau and the
Castle
route, it looks like an entirely different run.
Yeah. Anyway, people who are better than me, go figure that out. Go do the thing. Make us proud.
Starting Calamity himself. And we'll see if Tapir can hit some of his pre-fires.
Mm-hmm.
Something that he practices maybe more than anyone. Ooh. So that was a good pre-fire. You hardly see that target. The way you know you hit a really good pre-fire, though, is if you don't even get Zelda talking. If you get what is known as a speechless, that is the perfect hit it, the frame it appears. Did not quite get that. Stored on phase 2 of Calamity. Ooh, it's Calamity going straight to the wall. Stored has enough time on his attack up potion to deal with this, but ooh, that is not a fun attack. And Stored does have backup food. He took 1 hearted damage on the splash there. A little surprising me that he doesn't even attempt to parry those, but they are certainly hard to parry, so I don't entirely blame him.
Yeah, some people just aren't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, he
does manage to parry the fireball, though. there. Tapir manages to get the speechless on that particular shot. It's worth
He
noting.
saves it.
Worth noting that there's a music change after you finish the second round of shots. That means that regardless of how long it took you to do the first 2 sets, that belly shot will always show up at the same point in the music.
GG's.
So, GG Tapir. As Storewide finishes off Calamity as well.
Pretty solid.
28-20 by Tapir. Very nicely done. That is a low 27 as far as the leaderboard timing goes. Very impressive set of races.
Definitely.
And definitely just goes to show why. I mean, that there's certainly more tournament to go, but I think anyone who would favor Tapir or not. Let me start that. Tapir is definitely one of the favorites to make it out of losers bracket. The other Quincy and Piston are also very strong runners, but if you just look at leaderboard timing, Tapir is definitely the second fastest runner in this tournament. So really showing that here with 2 excellent races put together.
Hello, Tapir.
Hello.
Welcome in.
How
How'd you
are
feel
you?
about those races?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Seemed like chill vibes the whole time.
No. I was playing dumb at times. It was okay.
You feeling a little better about the bombs first route now that you've had some time to practice it?
Yeah, I guess. It's interesting to say the least. Because
What does that mean?
you can, like, I know like my skill, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
you can very easily just be losing a shit ton of time if you just aren't good at BLSing, which is what I learned today. Because like, you know how everyone's saying like Castle VTV is slower or faster than BLSing to Castle, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, like I had a run today that is basically even with a really good Castle VTV from a BLS to Castle before these races. And that's just because that people aren't good at recognizing and maintaining speed caps
Mm.
with BLS. And that's like one of the problems with BLS in general on this route is being able to like play at like, well, first off, like getting the initial speed. So you have to like basically wiggle the shit out of your controller. And then being able to recognize that speed through to like longer stints of the run. It's like Castle VTV. So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
there's still a lot to learn from this route, obviously. But it is comfortable. It is pretty annoying though with BLS because yesterday like we think that like if you just wiggle throughout like the entire like BLS, even through a world load, you should be fine. But there's still instances where like you can lose or go quote unquote neutral in the middle of your wiggling during a world load if like it just loads in at the wrong time. Which happened to me yesterday, and I was so confused because I've been doing BLS right for like 2 months, 3 months now. And that was the first time that's happened, and I'm like, what the hell?
I see.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it's still an interesting trick, and it's a trick that like let's say that happens in like the middle of like going to cryo, you're done. Like that's literally like you're losing more time than doing a BTB or missing a BTB first try, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
So,
makes sense.
like
GG's.
something that it's a skill thing, really. I think you need to like be able to get consistently good at, and it's hard. Like it's a hard trick like, to get
Absolutely.
really good at. Whereas BTB is like like there's a really precise setup. Like if you hit the BTB, you're like going the same speed as everyone else. But if you aren't like good at the BLS, like sure you can get the setup really quickly, but can you
continue the speed at the same rate as like other players, you know.
Defo.
So yeah, those are my thoughts after like the past couple of days.
Yeah, defo.
Totally makes sense. Welcome in Storewide. GG's on your races.
So, GG Tapir.
GG's.
I would be in a worse mood, but speechless third phase Dark Beast, so I'm happy.
Nicely
Me,
done.
every time I'm on a bad run, if I get speechless, I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you feeling overall about those races?
Not bad. It wasn't as good as I wanted it, but it's not as bad as it could have gone. So, I'm satisfied.
Sure, makes sense. You've had a very good tournament showing for sure.
Yeah.
Any specific spots you want to highlight?
I don't know really. I mean, Dark Beast or Clam was not nice at all. I think he screwed me over both times, which was really annoying. Other than that, well, I guess I YOLO'd the bombs BTB after the barrel hit me off the thing.
Yeah. You
Second
almost
race.
got it.
Yeah. I would have been so clutch if I got that, but I got an angle that would still work. Still save time over just jogging the whole entire way.
hmm
So yeah, I was gonna do bombs first, but like I don't know what it is about bombs first, but there's just a lot of obstacles that are showing up. Probably because it's a new route and I'm not practiced with it, but yeah, I just wasn't consistent enough for me to say, all right, I'm gonna use this in a race.
Makes sense.
So.
Just stick with what you've been doing the entire rest of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So let's quickly go to Tapir on that. Any particular highlights from your races you want to talk about?
My shield breaking during cryo clip.
Oh gosh.
I
That's a
was-
highlight.
I was so confused. I was like, what? And I just muscle memory pressing A there. I'm like, oh no, that's like such a massive time loss. Luckily, the autosave was good and nice. I was expecting to have to redo the BLS, honestly.
Yeah, I was very surprised you actually got that.
Mm-hmm.
That autosave.
And then, me just being... Oh, that Malbin loaded in so fast on my second race at Zelda's room. I was
Oh
so
yeah, the whole arrow thing.
Yeah, I just completely forgot that there's arrows there. I'm like, shit, I need an extra arrow. Because in the mind, I'm like, okay, I'm good on arrows. Then I'm like, I had to use one. I'm like, oh no, I'm down an arrow. What do I do? I'm like, okay, so if you're down an arrow, you break a pot, right? And then I go, I see the bow. Okay, let me get the bow. And then as I pick up the bow and run away, I see like the little arrows out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, that's right. Bad. Oh,
All worked out.
Yeah. I guess for that too, I got like 10 arrows in the amiibos. So I just was like, alright, sure.
Yeah.
Ignored all of the arrows in Castle.
that
That
works.
works.
Almost saved me though. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that was some really smart thinking to shoot the Moblin with that.
Mhm.
Because trying to like get him to forget about you probably would have taken a long time.
Especially if he runs into that room, you're like kind of screwed.
hmm
Alrighty then.
No, oh,
No. Okay, no. I'm bored. All right.
Crazy.
I was just gonna ask real quick. Like, this is the losers round, so unfortunately, Storewide, you are out of the tournament now. But any thoughts looking back on the whole tournament, on how it went, and any thoughts on what you're doing now after the tournament?
I don't know how I got this far. I'll just say that. I have no idea how I got this far. There was a lot of surprising upsets that surprised me as much as it surprised everyone else. And I'm happy with my placement in the tournament, and I wish you best of luck, Tapir, going
Thank you.
on ahead.
I mean, you
So,
shouldn't
yeah.
be surprised though. You played pretty well, especially like getting
Yeah.
consistent 28s with like only having your PB being a 28, you know, or 29s. It's still
Yeah.
it's pretty good. So
Thank you.
keep your head held high. There's a good
Yeah.
one.
Top
Yeah,
6.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Indeed.
congrats
I'll
on top
absolutely
6.
take that.
And then just quickly, Tapir, any thoughts going into the rest of the tournament for you?
I want to take off more games from player 5 instead of just the one. So
Sounds good.
Go get him.
Got to make it out of this winner's bracket. Or I guess potentially Daniel, if Daniel beats him, you'd see him later in the loser's bracket. But
true.
just keep winning and maybe you'll see him again.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
All
Now you
right.
can go Trez.
Okay, now I can. Cool. Again, huge shout out to both of you, GG to Storewide for making it into top 6. And good luck, Tapir, on the rest. And also, thank you so much to Crazy, to Litbooks, and Torcad for the commentary. Really colorful and nice. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw. We're gonna be back later today on ZSR. Actually, later today? No, not later today. It's a calm week. We're gonna be back tomorrow, the triple header of Zelda 2 All Keys tournament and the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Tournament Season 5 qualifiers. So see you there tomorrow. For today, that's it on ZSR. We're gonna rate a fellow Breath of the Wild runner. And that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy.
Bye, everyone.